Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking... I couldn't get to it. I didn't want to laugh until I got to the name. We are looking at the Mess Toys 112 Action Figure Superior Neighbor. I love the names. If Black Suit Neighbor wasn't good enough, this one is surely better because it is the superior neighbor. This guy definitely trims his bushes along the fence line. And I gotta say, it's another good one. What do the kids say these days? It's a banger? They don't say that anymore, I'm guessing. But it's a good one. And it's third party, not bootleg. To be clear, it's the same company that makes bootlegs, and I don't like bootlegs or knockoffs. But it is the third party figure, which means it is their own sculpt based on Revoltech style engineering. You don't get to own a style of engineering, though. So people saying these are just knockoff Revoltechs, that's not the case. Any company out there can make a figure that looks like a Revoltech. You cannot own Articulation unless you specifically patent something, which I don't know if Bandai was even able to successfully do that with their goofy new patents that they're trying to do. But lots of action figure companies use the same types of articulation. So you can't even really fault them for using a Revoltech style. They're allowed to like Revoltech styles and make their own figures. The only thing they're doing is using the IP, the copyright infringement, the Spider-Man. That's a thing they shouldn't be doing. But all artwork that is not licensed is doing the same thing. Now this is relatively mass produced, and that's where the problem comes in. But if this was a custom figure, for instance, it wouldn't be doing anything wrong at all. That's what makes it different from a knockoff or a bootleg. That's why I say it's a gray area. It's technically wrong because they're doing mass production of something that's licensed without having that license. But otherwise, everything's just, it's a third-party action figure, so that's fine, and that's why I'm reviewing it. So there it is, but let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It's a nice package. It looks like a real package. Other than, this looks like Mezco. This looks like some other brand I can't think of. Maybe Mezco also has that styling. No, somebody else does, though, that font. And it says Superior Neighbor instead of Spider-Man. But otherwise, it's a decent package for sure. It doesn't look like a straight-up bootleg if you didn't recognize fonts and things. Looks fine. I don't mean bootleg literally, I mean it as third party. Okay, so here he is. Again, you have to go to different websites to get these sorts of things. You can't just find them on Big Bad Toy Store. I use Gundamn for this type of stuff. You can get them on AliExpress or wherever else. I don't get review samples for these guys. They keep telling me they will give me review samples, but they want me to jump through a bunch of hoops that don't work. Their hoops are broken on websites and things, and so I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna buy it. And also, they want me to like post their stuff. I'm like, I'm not advertising for you. I'll take a review sample and show your product, but I'm not here to sell I'm not hawking your wares. Get out of here. So yeah, I bought this with my own dinero, and it was like $40, including shipping. So that's kind of nice, but that's because it's not licensed. All right, he stands about 16 centimeters, just a touch over that. That's going to make him roughly 6 3/8, give or take. Here he is up against Darwin. You could definitely fudge this guy right into your, finish that sentence, right into your collection, however you see fit. It'll fit in with your larger imports, and it'll fit in with Marvel Legends, no problem. It's basically the same figure that I just reviewed, the Black Suit Neighbor, other than obviously we have some different details. This is all new sculpt, because this is all sculpted, which we'll talk about. These are sculpted, and I don't think the Black Suit had the pointy fingers, so a few different things, and then obviously this is different, but otherwise it's mostly the same, so we probably won't spend as much time on this guy. But let's do a question of the day. Which spider suit that's not red and blue, the original traditional red and blue, is your favorite? And I don't care about like the stories behind it or anything, although obviously you can factor that in if you want. Like, do you like the way this looks? Do you like the way the black and red cane spider suit looks? Or like which other suit, non-traditional Spider-Man suit, is your favorite? Other than these, I never have ever Iron Spider, whatever it is, I hate the robot legs. They just, to me, are not cool. I get functionally that they're cool. They can do spider leg type stuff, whatever, I don't care. They're just, it's too busy. I like spider suits simple. And I love the way the web looks on this. All of the ones that have the asymmetrical webbing I think are super cool. So anyway, let's get into the aesthetics on this guy. I love the fact that he has a matte finish basically everywhere. At least all of the black is a nice matte finish, I'd say, and then satin for the reds. The reds aren't perfectly uniform in color. They're slightly off here and there, but they still look nice, and they're pretty close. You can see, maybe you can see. This piece down here is slightly different red than this. The shoulder's slightly different than this, but it's closer than most Marvel Legends, so that's okay. And the wash going on to paint those asymmetrical web lines, and then the paintwork for the spider logo, it's pretty clean. It's not perfect, but because it's a wash, you can kind of get away with it. Washes don't have to be perfect anyway. Then we have the glossy inset eyes, so they're not painted. I mean, there might be paint on them, but they're not painted parts of the head. They're a separate piece, and they're glossy, so they give a really nice look. I'd like to see if they were like gunmetal for the iris part, for the center part, and then black for the trim. Just a little extra detail there, but that's pretty cool. These are painted well enough, certainly acceptable. Not great, but certainly fine for the price point. And then the insides of the palms, all painted very nicely. And then the feet also not bad. They look decent for paint. The sculpt is, like I said, basically the same as the black suit other than the detail stuff. And it looks good. He's got that kind of elongated Revoltech look, but it definitely works for Spider-Man. Even in a neutral stance, it's not terrible, other than the neck is a little bit long. But once you pose him up, it's fine. Somebody said, why is he wearing boots when I reviewed the black suit? It's just the way they do the joints. You can't, that's the way the Revoltech style joints are. They have what looks like a boot. I don't like it, but it doesn't mean he has a boot. It is just meant to be a black leg, because he doesn't also have knee pads. But he does have knee pads. You know what I mean? It's just that style, which is not my cup of tea, those extra flares. That's just the way it is. And then we have the legs and the backpack, which are metallic as heck. They look really nice. I like them. I think that's good. The sculpt is nice, and this is nice. I don't know if these are stolen. Did Revoltech do an Iron Spider? I think they did. Are those stolen? Are those original sculpt, or are those stolen? You guys can let me know, or I'll check and see if I can figure it out. If that part's stolen, that kind of sucks. But they do look nice. The paint job's good. We'll see later if they can actually hold the figure. All of the listings for this guy show him having these holding him up without him using a stand or anything. We're going to see if they can actually do it. I'll just share a photo of it because I'm not going to bother with it on camera. But yeah, he looks nice. He looks really good. I like him a bunch. I'm very, very happy with him. And if you're in for this sort of thing, you're not worried about the fact that it's not licensed, so you get to just judge it at $40, which obviously it's an absolute steal for $40. It is. Oh, I've got his tailbone broken. Hang on. There we go. It's an absolute steal for $40. It's not a fair play at $40. I want to be clear. I'm not saying everything that looks like this should cost $40, though I think they could probably get closer than they are. I think the prices have ballooned like crazy. And everybody likes to blame things other than greed, but it is just greed in a lot of cases. But yeah, for $40, this is wonderful. So 9.5 out of 10 for this price. It's really, really good, obviously. All right, as far as accessories go, we have an alternate unmasked head. That looks pretty decent. We have the half unmasked head. Could be a little bit better paint job, but still looks pretty good. We get a whole bunch of different hands with peg holes in them for gripping or thwipping, and didn't mean for that to rhyme. A lot of hands, very nice. And then you get your triangle webs and your regular thwippy or grippy webs, and those are nice. They're a harder plastic, and the hands are a softer plastic, so it's actually not so bad pegging them in. Not bad at all. You do get your character-specific display stand, which you guys know is not my thing. I like clear display stands, but this is nice. You can feel... It's almost like probably is a silk screening. You can feel it on there, so they probably would scratch off fairly easily. But you get the bendy, clippy thing. It's a nice display stand, especially all of this for $40. Obviously, like I said, it's not fair, but it is what you get for $40. So if you are in for this sort of stuff, you win for sure. 10 out of 10 for accessories for $40. You're not doing better than that. It's not even close. All right, so as far as articulation goes, does this thing come off? I don't think it does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't come off. If it does, mine is just really stuck. These guys are all on ball hinges, so you know what? They flex, they move very easily, so you might be able to get him to do the thing, but I'm doubting that he can actually be held up by these, but we'll see, and maybe your mileage will vary. Although these are made fairly well. Like, I haven't had many joint issues with the two that I've had. So I'm guessing they all have good joints, not that some don't. But anyway, these all have ball hinges where you would expect them to be, and they move. But they are fairly easy to move, so I really doubt it's going to hold him up. But I'll post a photo if I can do it. Otherwise, I'll just put a note. All right, for articulation, ball pegs where you want them, and it moves around very... You know what? Let's just pop these off. It's nice that they come off easily, but obviously that makes them less sturdy. So yeah, the head moves around. You do get this giant gap in the neck like we talked about in the past. That sucks when you lean them all the way back. But if you don't, it's not bad. Doesn't lean side to side as much, but it does lean, and then the head itself moves around nicely. So you should be okay. You should be able to hit some poses. You saw that one I had on the turnaround. Works well. The chest joint, I don't even know what to call this joint. Lat. It's like basically a lat joint. But yeah, it works. It goes back. It tucks underneath this, which is a nice design element. Tucks under nicely. Goes forward nicely. No issue at all. Shoulders raise up. Not as high as they could. If this was a Revoltech, they'd go higher probably, but I don't mind. I like less gapping. And I can just rotate his arms around if I need to. But yeah, the shoulders do work. They work like a Revoltech. So you get the ball hinge here, then the ball peg inside the socket, or inside the shoulder. Maybe you can't see that, but that's what gives you that extra. That's the ball peg right there. And they work nicely. You get your bicep swivel here. They're cutting it at an angle just like a Revoltech. So I wish they would do a little bit more to be like a Revoltech, but not too much like one. I don't like things like that. That offset swivel is annoying, especially with the sculpt being slightly onto the bicep. But it still works. It's fine. The single jointed elbow, as you would expect, works like a Revoltech. You get really tight joint there. A little bit of gapping, although this is not bad. If you want to get rid of the gapping, it's still a pretty tight bend. So it's not, like I said, in some cases they do improve upon the Revoltech style. I'd like to see it just a little bit more, and these would be really great. Ball hinge wrists. The hands don't fall off super easily. That's a nice upgrade compared to Revoltech. The joint is a little small and loose, but it's not too bad. For the torso, I'm pretty sure it all functions the same as the other guy. It feels like it's slightly less range. He doesn't want to go quite as far in some of the poses, but obviously he does lean back really well. And one of the things I love about Revoltech, or these not Revoltech figures, they make the torsos rounder, thicker front to back than maybe is realistic in some cases, but it really helps the articulation to look nice when you're posing it. It does afford better range. He leans forward very nicely, and to the side very nicely. Actually, I have this here. You can see I have a little bit of an example. He's probably bigger front to back, and this isn't finished. I have to adjust a few things. He's probably thicker front to back than he needs to be by a little bit. These are the ones I designed, but it does afford better range, and it helps you to make them look better. When they're really skinny like Marvel Legends, you end up with some problems with articulation. So yeah, I like that these guys have the very thick torsos front to back. It's nice, but yeah, it moves around really well. It's going to pose great, and I don't have any stuck or loose joints. Like I said, these feel nice. These feel like third-party figures, not crappy knockoffs. People don't like when I say that, but the knockoffs aren't good quality. Even if they're cheap, they're still not good figures. You might be okay with that, but they're not good. These are good. These are nicely made figures. Legs go out to the side pretty well. They work a little bit nicer than Revoltech hips do, but you still run into some issues. Revoltech, it's like that's their downfall. The hips being just overly complex for no reason, but you can still get really good range out of the hips. You just have to finagle them. Same thing with the knees, other than you don't have to finagle them. They just look weird, but you get really good range out of them because it's just that single joint that isn't the best looking thing ever, but this one's a pretty good one. It's not bad at all, honestly. I'm actually kind of impressed at how nice that looks. And then this joint here gives you a lot of extra range, which is totally unrealistic, but and people ask me, what's it for? Like, even when I show them, like, it's silly. Well, here, this is what it's for. It's to get the leg to bend up more. You don't notice that it's actually like a broken shin bone. Your tibia is broken, but it works for making a tighter knee bend. So that's what that is. All right, and then for the ankles, unfortunately, this guy has relatively loose ankles, kind of like the wrists, and they don't have the best range either. They go forward fine, or back, I guess, but this direction's not great, and they are kind of loose. Ankle rocker is nice, but again, loose. And the toe hinge, I don't mind it. It's not a particularly good one. For a stylized figure like this, it's okay. But yeah, it's not the best, and everything's kind of loose down here, so I had some issues with that when I was posing him, but if you're going to put it like his hand down or something anyway, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, he articulates really well. It's not perfect. There are some things I would like to see changed and stuff like that, but it's pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. I'm going to go 9.5 out of 10. It poses. These suckers pose, and they look really good doing it. So now it's time for the final verdict. Yep, if you're okay with third-party figures, these Mess Toys Spider-Man figures are the Spider-Man figures to get. Like I said before, the only issue would be the licensing, not the sculpt. They're not stealing stuff, to my knowledge. Like, maybe they are, in like for some things, but these are their sculpts. So it's not that much different than like all the third-party Transformers that aren't straight up knockoffs. You know, you got to figure out how you feel about that and decide for yourself. But they are damn good figures, and they're pretty damn cheap. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I'll give this guy an overall rating of 9.5 out of 10. I like it a whole bunch, and I'm not even a superior neighbor kind of guy. But that's it for me. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll be done. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.